I'm going to give a brief introduction of myself. Then I'm going to go over some key components of how you can prepare for college. So studying, networking, team building. Then we're going to go over college applications and scholarships, choosing your college, and then college life tips. All right, so a little bit about me. I'm 23 years old. I graduated in May of 2023. So I graduated almost a year ago today. I graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Biology and a Bachelor's of Science in Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, and also with a minor in Chemistry. So a lot of science there. I currently work at Jones Lake Management as an administrative biologist, so I do all of our contracting work for algae and weed control and ponds. I've raised Dutch for 14 years, and I just recently added Netherlands horse. I've been a part of the ARBA for 16 years now, as well as a couple of the Dutch clubs for 16 years. Previously, I've raised silver foxes, triantas, French Angoras, Californians, New Zealands, and Harlequins. I've also had my registrar's license since I was 2017, sorry. So topic 1, studying. So we all know that in order to participate in royalty competitions, you have to study. You can't just go up there and wing it. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but do you really want to go up there and wing it? I don't think so. So studying for royalty, some things that I recommend are flashcards, verbal quizzing, so talking to your parents, having them ask you questions, you answer them. If you have friends in 4-H, bounce questions off of them as well. And then worksheets. So like I mentioned in my previous talk, Rabbit Tutor is a great resource that I highly recommend every one of you look into. David's really done some great work with it here in the past several months. So in college, studying looks a lot different in college, but it still applies. When I was in college, I used a lot of flashcards. There was a lot of reading of textbooks, highlighting, rewriting notes, and practice problems. Practice problems will always become your best friend. So some key similarities and takeaways: repetition, memorizing, and application. So repeating your studying over and over again, memorizing flashcards, key terms, things that might be important, and then application, so putting what you know to use. So walking around shows, identifying rabbits, competing in royalty, and applying what you know. Topic 2, networking. This is probably going to be one of the most valuable things that I talk about today. So networking is super important for college, and I think that this hobby sets you up to learn networking at a very early age. So what is networking? Networking is building relationships and making connections. So this can be in group settings or on one-on-one settings. It can help bring different opportunities that you didn't know about. So let's say that you wanted to go out for your judging license. First step, you have to become a registrar first. So talk to judges, talk to registrars about what the application process would be. They know that you want to become a registrar. In order to become a registrar, you have to work with a registrar. So you complete the process, but then you have to work with someone. But that judge knows that you want to become a registrar. So they're like, hey, I know this registrar. I think you should work with them. That's networking. So in college, this can help bring out unadvertised jobs, talking and doing different workshops, judging in new shows, etc. So this is, again, going to be one of your most valuable skills. So a little side blurb on the pictures here. So I met David when I was a youth, obviously. He judged in our county fairs. I met him at shows, so I knew him as a judge. He knew I competed in royalty and did pretty well in it. So that's how he knew I competed in royalty, so he asked me to help do these jobs. That's networking. With my career, this year I was awarded the Ohio Sea Grant. And I went to San Antonio, Texas for the Aquaculture America talk with my COO and my dad, who's also our fish production manager. And I was able to connect with new vendors, got us new chemical costs. So it really shows in this hobby, you learn how to talk to people. You learn how to have a conversation. You learn how to introduce yourself. And that will take you farther. So different types of networking. So in our hobby here, mentorships is going to be a huge thing. So connecting with people who are there to guide you. So find yourself a mentor, whether that be a breeder who raises the same breed as you, a judge, a registrar, someone who you can ask questions to and you feel comfortable asking questions to. So mentors, they can help introduce you to other people within the breed. So if you're just starting out, you get with a breeder, they become your mentor, but you want to spread your bloodlines. So you ask around and that mentor helps connect you with other breeders whose bloodlines might work well with their bloodlines. Judging, so building a rapport with judges, so talking with judges at shows, asking them questions, talking to them, how did you get to be where you are today? So building a rapport with judges can help take you to the next level in your rabbit career. Like I said earlier, they can help connect you with other judges or registrars if you choose to get your registrar's or judge's license. By building a good rapport with a judge, they might be able to recommend you for a judging or a registrar position in the future at a show. Conventions and workshops. Conventions are a great time to talk to people throughout the country. So not a whole lot of us travel outside of our state or surrounding states for rabbit shows. So conventions are a great time to talk to breeders that come from across the state and see what their lines are like, what their raising experience is like, how their rabbitry differs from yours. And then workshops can be helpful to open your mind to new thoughts or knowledge. Networking in college. So you'll network in college pretty much every day of your life. You're going to be talking with friends, peers, professors, staff members nearly every day you're in college. So the more relationships you make, the deeper that those connections will go, the farther it'll take you. So one of the things I wanted to touch on was my research professor in college. He helped me connect with professors at Ohio State, and I was able to do an internship there because I was considering going to grad school. So he helped connect me to an admin in the OSU plant pathology path, and I was able to talk to him and set up an internship with them. So I worked on soybean nematodes while I was in college. But that was really helpful because it gave me an insight to what graduate life would be like, and I was able to make that decision from there on if that was the path that I wanted to continue. So by having that connection with my research professor, he was able to connect me with other people at other colleges to further my career. So that kind of goes on to that fourth point there, that if you choose for a more advanced degree, master's, doctorate, etc., someone you might know another professor or an admin at another college, and they might be able to help you get into those programs. So that's a really useful tool there. No connection is a waste. Look at every person that you meet as a chance for a new opportunity. So whether that be a friendship, a new job opportunity, a new judging or registrar opportunity, always look at meeting someone as a new opportunity to grow. Topic 3, team building. So benefits for team building, communication, compromising, finding your strengths and weaknesses. You're going to evaluate a lot of problems and learn how to problem solve very quickly. And obviously build relationships with the people that you're team building with. So team building, it applies in royalty and in college. So in royalty, you're going to use the knowledge of the breeds that you raise or are familiar with to teach your teammates, teach fellow members. So this will allow them to learn something new, and then they'll be able to teach you about your breed. So work together to learn new things, work together to start new things. And then in college, you do a lot of group projects in college. I was not a fan of group projects when I first went into college. They're terrible. Still not a huge fan of them. I like to do my work by myself. But group projects, there's a lot that goes into the grade about how well you work with others. So learning to work well while you're young with others is a huge benefit to that. So each person in a group project is given a job that they think they would be good at. So you're expected to do good at your job and help your teammates achieve a good grade. And it also allows you to meet new people that you may have not talked to previously in classes. So I think that's really important. So some key takeaways. So you're always teaching each other something. You're learning something new. You get to use your strengths to help your team. So the things that you're good at, you're always helping your team with that. And you get to meet new people and make new friends. So scholarships and college applications. So they're very similar to royalty interviews. This is where you really want to talk about yourself. You want to make yourself sound good. Don't be afraid to talk about your strengths. Don't be afraid to talk about your weaknesses. Talk about your passions. Talk about what drives you. Talk about what made you the person that you are today. That's what colleges are looking for during these application times. They want to see different volunteer work. So volunteer work, school activities, extracurricular activities. They want to know about your hobbies and your interests, but they want these to be a wide array of things. So they don't want to see the same repetition over and over again. They want to see that you went out to different volunteer opportunities and tried something new. Whether that be going to like a food bank, a clothing drive, going to a hospital and doing activities with kids or elderly people. They want to see something different. They want to see something new. So always go out there and expand your horizons, and it makes you a better person too because you're volunteering. So I recommend doing a wide array of activities, whether that be in school or out of school. I know it can be kind of hard in the rabbit world to do things on the weekends, but rabbit shows aren't everything, and you have to prepare yourself for the future. So make sure that you take the time to go out and try new activities, volunteer. If you're looking to go into a specific field, go ahead and shadow people. So if you're looking to work out of that clinic, go volunteer, go shadow doctors, vet techs, anywhere you can get in. It's going to help you figure out if that's truly what you want to do in the future. So I highly suggest that. I did that throughout high school. I shadowed out a lot of different vet offices, trying to figure out if that was something I wanted to do. Obviously, I went a different path, but it taught me my love for animals, but it just wasn't the path for me. And then when it comes to applying for scholarships, pick scholarships that you personally can relate to. Don't apply for every scholarship on the market just because you feel like you have to. Pick things that you can relate to or that you have an experience with so that you can tell a story. Those are going to be the scholarships that you're more likely to get because you can connect with them. You can tell a story with them. If you're just doing a scholarship to do a scholarship and there's no way for you to connect with it, know when they look at that scholarship that it's not the right scholarship for you. So really keep that in mind as well. So how to choose your college. Some things that I highly recommend considering are class sizes. So if you came from like a big high school or a small high school, do you want to maintain small class sizes or do you want to go for something a little bit bigger? Same applies for college size. Do you want to go to a big university or a smaller university? Program options, so do they have a lot of different majors, especially things that you're interested in? That was a big thing for me with picking my school was what kind of programs they had, because I didn't want to go to school with a small limitation in case I changed my mind. Housing is super important. Pick schools with good housing, trust me. I didn't make the best decision with my college when it came to housing. It would be something that I would highly consider if I were to go back to school. So make sure that they have good housing options for you. And then accessibility. So do they have resources on campus that are easily accessible? Do they have, you know, a health clinic on campus? Do they have a library that's open at all times? Do they have just things that are accessible? Or do they have full access to all their classrooms all the time, or do they shut them down at a certain time of the day? And then, of course, proximity to friends, family, and relatives. Do you want to stay close to your family, or do you want to move far away? That's something I wanted to consider. I picked the happy medium of being 2 hours away from my family, so far enough away that they weren't on top of me, but close enough to where if I wanted to go home, I could. So that's something to consider. And then, of course, what do you want to study? What are your passions? What makes you happy? What makes you feel fulfilled in life? What do you want to do every day for the rest of your life? What do you think is going to make you happy? You don't want to pick a career that you're going to like for 5 years and then you're going to get down the road and it's not going to be what you want to do anymore. So really consider that, and that's why I really recommend job shadowing, especially when you're in college. That way you can get a taste for what that field is like. And then if you think you know, then try it out. If you get through the first semester and you're like, this is not what I want to do, you can always switch it up. I recommend at least figuring that out by year 2. And then what are you looking for in a college? Some things that I really considered when I was looking for colleges. I wanted someplace that felt like home. I didn't want to go to a college where I didn't feel safe at, where I didn't feel at home. So you kind of know when you go on the campus, you get this instant feeling that's just like, I kind of belong here. That's what you want to look for in your college. Are the tour guide, staff, and professors nice and welcoming? They're there to answer your questions, but do they answer them to an extent that makes you happy? And is this some place that you feel like you can grow and learn? You're going to be there for the next 4 years, so is that some place that you feel like has enough space for you to grow and learn? Do they have enough opportunities for you to grow and learn? I know one thing that was big for me was in science field, you want to do research when you're in college. So do they have good opportunities for research? Do they have good funding? Those are things that you want to consider. And lastly, just some college life tips. Orientation week is going to be your best friend. I hated college orientation week. But I was very shy, and if I could go back and redo it, I would go back and redo it. Get out there. You're gonna meet so many new people, and you're gonna meet so many friends that first week. It's really important to attend the meetings and activities that they hold for you, because that's where you're gonna meet new people. I didn't do a whole lot of the activities and meetings my first orientation week, and I immediately regretted it. I still regret it to this day. If I could go back and redo it, I would. Treat your peers and professors with the same respect that you want to treat I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. If you're not giving your professors respect, they're less likely to help you. Same thing with your peers. College is hard. You're going to have a lot of questions. The more friends that you make, the more help that you're going to have. Your professors are always going to be there to help you. That's kind of their job. But talk to them when you need help, but also don't take advantage of their kindness. Don't constantly turn in your work late and continue to ask for forgiveness. That's not cool. So turn in your work on time. If you have it late once or twice, they're more likely to be more forgiving with that. So really pay attention to that. Study hard, but make sure that you take time for yourself and for your friends. Burnout is something that's very real in college, and it's only starting to be talked about more and more, but burnout is real, so study hard, but make sure to take time for yourself to relax so that you're not getting burnout. Try new things. You'll be surprised with the things that you find that you like. There were so many things that I tried in college that I was like, there's no way I'm going to like this. And then it turns out I actually really did. ARBA offered a lot of activities in the evenings for students to do. They had painting, yoga, a variety of things. And at first you're like, is this really something I want to do? But the more you go out there and you do it with your friends, the more likely you are to find something that you like. Explore new places, try new restaurants, hike in new parks. Where I went to school, they had a very small strip of restaurants and little hometown shops that were really fun to explore. I didn't really start exploring those until year 2 or 3 while I was in college, and I wish I had done it sooner because it was really fun. So always just try to explore the area that you're living in. You don't want to stay in the same place every time. Go home as often as you need, but also spend time at school on the weekends. I know a lot of kids that go home every weekend. That's fine. If you're homesick, go home, but also try to stay on campus on the weekends. It's fun. They always have fun things to do, whether it's college, sports. ARBA used to host 4th Friday events where they had a festival every 4th Friday of the month. Those were always fun. They brought in a bunch of food vendors, things like that. And then farmers markets are huge on Saturdays and Sundays, so those were always fun to go to. So try to stay there at least a couple weekends. And most of all, try to have fun while you're in college. It's a stressful time. It can be really hard on you, but try to have fun. Go out, try new things, meet new people. It's supposed to be a fun experience with the stress added on, but still a fun experience. And then finally, that's the end of my talk. So if any of you want to reach out to me about applying for school scholarships, have any questions related to royalty or rabbits in general, feel free to contact me. I'll be here all weekend. And then my email's also linked on there. So if you need to reach out to me, feel free to. But that's the conclusion. So any questions?